So this webinar is being recorded. So if you know people that wanted to attend but can't, it'll be posted on our website. So yeah, thank you all. So the January theme for the School Garden webinar is around the Ark of Taste and Biodiversity in School Gardens. Slow Food's National School Garden Program has hosted monthly webinars for about the last year, and we're excited to bring you this new topic with a great lineup of guest presenters. I will let everyone introduce themselves, but we have Megan from Slow Food USA, Cindy Joseph from Florida, Mim Mitchlove from California, and then Andrea Brancini, also from Slow Food USA. So all the contact information from our presenters will be presented at the end if you want to follow up with them with questions. So just a few housekeeping things. I have everyone muted to reduce background noise. So if you have a question or want to make a comment, please use the chat function, which is in your GoToMeeting control panel on your computer. Let's see. That should be better. Okay, there we go. Here's the housekeeping slide. If you want to follow up on any of our school garden resources, our website is listed there, and then also the link to where the webinar recording link can be found. All right, so we're going to get started with Megan.
All right, thanks so much, Lauren. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to be here to share a little bit about the Ark of Taste with all of you gardeners and garden enthusiasts who would like to incorporate it into your planting plans for the season. So you can see here the official description of the Ark of Taste, which is that it's a living collection of distinctive and meaningful foods in danger of extinction. So this is the program that highlights Slow Food's commitment to the biodiversity of our food system. We firmly believe that in order to have a good, clean, and fair food system, you have to have biodiversity in order to create that food to begin with. There are a lot of initiatives, international and regional, that are aimed at protecting biodiversity. Slow Food's approach is unique in that realm, in that we understand that what you call agricultural biodiversity or agrodiversity is just as dependent on the people who care for, tend, and protect those foods as it is dependent on the landscape around it. So it represents this really beautiful space for both tradition and learning that is the collaboration of eaters with the landscape around them. So on the Ark of Taste, you'll find many different types of foods. You'll find both wild and crop plants. You'll also find fish and sea life, as well as different breeds of poultry and cattle and other animals, sheep and rabbits. We also include the processed foods, so different types of breads and candies and vinegars and wines that are the product of this long collaboration between the natural world and the human world. The Ark of Taste is primarily an online catalog. It's a little bit like the Wikipedia of food biodiversity. We call it eater-based conservation, and we really look to the public to help to populate that list. Since its founding in the early 2000s, the Ark of Taste has collected this knowledge from expert and non-expert alike, and there are now over 317, or exactly 317 products from Slow Food USA that are on the International Ark of Taste. And when I made this slide, there were 2,749 foods listed internationally, and I have no doubt that that number has gone up by several dozen since that time. And this is a space where you can really find the incredible ingenuity of humans as the most prolific omnivores on the planet. Yeah, I think that that's my introduction to the Ark of Taste.
Thanks, Megan. That's great. Um, I'm going to put you back on mute. We really appreciate that. And if you could make yourself available for questions, that would be wonderful. People might have some follow-up things.
Absolutely, I'm more than happy to.
Thank you. So next we have Cindy Joseph from Florida. Cindy, I don't have you on mute, so you should be able to just speak and then let me know when you want me to change your slides. Oh, Cindy, is that working now?
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi. Okay,
Can you hear me?
great. Yep, you're on. If you want to let me know when to change your slides, I'm happy to do that, and we'd love to hear from you.
Okay, all right. So I don't know what you heard from before, but I'm Cindy Joseph. I'm from South Florida. I teach at a high school called Cypress Bay High School. And I did a project with my students last year that was actually, the idea was given to me by our head chair of our slow food chapter, Scott Lewis, who I know is joining us today. And he gave me the idea to do this with the kids. They basically did a project on, I incorporated Scott's idea into a project they were doing on agriculture and the environmental impacts of industrial agriculture. So I added a slow food Ark of Taste component, and the students researched environmental impacts of agriculture, biodiversity and its importance in food sustainability and security. And they did some research on the Ark of Taste. What is the project? You know, how is it related to biodiversity? And also what foods are grown in their local area and how can they incorporate them into their meals. And they also did some research on a local plant called the kunti plant, which was used by Native Americans for food. They described what's its role in the environment, which is the food source for the Atala butterfly larva. And then I had them, based on their research, they made an argument for or against nominating the kunti plant to the Ark of Taste. So as the action portion of their project, they did a presentation on all their research questions, and then they culminated it by filling out the application, and we kind of worked on that as a group, and they submitted it to be boarded on the Ark of Taste. And then we also planted several kunti plants out in our habitat because I have some growing in my yard. So, and as a matter of fact, we now have some Atala butterflies hatching in our classroom from the kunti that we planted. So that kind of went full circle. It's kind of cool. So they did a presentation on that was very open-ended. The kids were able to do the presentation pretty much however they imagined. So it was a lot of fun. This year, I kind of extended it to my AP Environmental Science class and I added a Cavendish banana case study, which is kind of, very relevant to what's going on now in the food industry. They're also growing, my AT students are growing different Ark of Taste tomatoes. They're growing, and you can, yeah, thank you. They're growing the Cherokee Purple, the German Pink, the Mortgage Lifter, and the Suda String Brandywine tomatoes. And you can see a picture there. We started them in the classroom from seed, and then the students took them home this week, and they're going to be growing them in their yard. And the idea is, and they're also growing Everglades tomato, which is a local wild kind of currant tomato variety that's really, really disease resistant and drought resistant. So the idea is that once they start to fruit, hopefully we'll be able to get them to grow them at home, bring them in as they fruit, and taste the different Ark of Taste varieties and the Everglades tomato. And I'd like them to be able to analyze the Everglades tomato and see if it fits into the Ark of Taste criteria to possibly do a nomination. And so that is our project, and the kids are having fun with it, and so am I. So hopefully it'll succeed. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Cindy. It's such a fascinating project, and when we got a chance to visit you and Scott in the Slow Food Glades to Coast chapter in Florida a few months ago, it was really awesome to hear more about that, and I think it's really inspired some of our future Ark of Taste in School Garden projects, which we can tell you all about a little bit later. So thanks, Cindy. Next, we have Mim from Southern California. Mim, can you hear me okay?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, you are all good. You're on.
So I am from the Encinitas Union School District. Again, my name is Mim Michaelov, and I'm the director of the EUSD Farm Lab, which is a really kind of cool new form of school and operates on 10 acres. It's a farm that's a background for the school that teaches science. And about 5 acres of that land are set aside for growing food for the school lunch program. It's relatively new, so we're just in our third week of production for the school lunch program, and we are now set up to grow anywhere between 100 and 200 heads of organic lettuce every week for the rest of the school year, and actually year-round. We're very lucky to have the climate that we do. But it's an educational facility that has field trips for the for the elementary age schools. So we have 9 schools in our district, and every school gets to field trip through for an entire day. And then we have this new kind of approach to education that we're rolling out, which is actually a perfect fit for what we're doing with Ark of Taste as well. And we call it Dreams Education, and we have the kids really working on design thinking and research, engineering, art, and math and science. It's integrated into all of their lessons, and it's all experiential learning, and they're able to do that on an organic farm and see where their food actually is coming from, which gets them far more excited to eat it, and they're far more connected to it. Like I said, so we're our third week in of growing lettuce. We're just figuring out how to be very consistent in our production, and we're excited to soon roll out actually a variety of lettuce from Ark of Taste, the Amish deer tongue lettuce. And we are also very lucky to be able to have a community partner, Jimbo's, a local health food store that wants us to sell there. So whenever school is on vacation, we also are able to bring the Ark of Taste and really talk about biodiversity and bring that out into the community as well as the elementary schools. We're really excited to get that from both angles. Yes, it takes a village. Thank you for changing my slide. I can jump around a lot. So this is what it takes in case you're thinking of starting a program like this. I just wanted you to know the basics of how many people it really takes to pull something like this together. We are extremely lucky because our superintendent and school board are all very pro garden education, and I think that they really understand that you can take the school garden and use it for not only nutrition education and environmental education, but really for every kind of curriculum that you're teaching. And we can, through we have a really prolific seed saving program, and the students are involved in that. And so I think that the school district understands that seed saving, while you're doing that project, you can be teaching your social studies, and you can be talking about cultures and heritage and the passing down of genetic information. And we have kids who are actually starting a seed-saving library, not just for their own farm and garden education, but for the entire community. And we will be saving the seeds from Ark of Taste varieties and giving them out for free to the community to make sure that people are in on this conversation about the importance of biodiversity and the heritage of our food and eating clean food. And they'll be helping to grow and expand the awareness, and that'll be really fun and helpful. So we find that actually incorporating the food into the school lunch program really opens the kids' palates and gets them excited to try new things, and actually directly connects them to what they're eating and what they're choosing in the school cafeteria, which we find makes a huge difference in participation and all-around health benefits for the kids, changing their habits. Yes, so we are extremely lucky. Also, we have right next to us, across the street, another organic farm going in, and they are expert farmers, and we've been able to contract with them, and they can come down and they manage our farm field. So our field was a parking lot that we have turned into we've done a lot of amending and we've turned it into an organic farm. We're about to get our organic certification. And so we've put a lot of systems in place over the past half a year so that we can have this very consistent production schedule for our team at the Child Nutrition Services, and they can count on us now to supply all the lettuce, and soon to come will be celery, and then sugar snap peas, and then carrots, and then hopefully by the end of our production line for this season, we will be able, and coming into spring and summer, we'll be able to provide all of the produce on the salad bars at all 9 schools. So we're very excited about that. I could go on. I'm not sure how far I should go about this program.
Ma'am, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that really incredible model. And actually, we'll get to meet you in person later this week. And we're so excited to come to Encinitas and visit the Farm Lab. I know there are some questions for you, but I'm actually going to save questions till the end. So we'll let all the presenters go, and then I will start moderating the Q&A session. But thank you so much.
Are you able to add one final note?
Oh, sure, please.
So I feel like I missed something really critical, which is something I very much believe in, and what this program has a lot to do with, which is the absolute, I don't know how to phrase it, but the power that public education actually has, the impact it can have, positive impact it can have on public health. And it's just a resource that we could all be using in a little bit better fashion, and we do hope to serve as a model for other places to use for that. So thank you, Laurel, for letting me say that.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Okay, so our final presenter of the day is Andrea, who's going to talk about her work developing a cookbook around the Ark of Taste for slow food.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. As Lauren said, my name is Andrea Brancini, and I've been working on a cookbook project. So I wanted to start out by saying, how did I get this opportunity? There are actually so many wonderful internship opportunities through Slow Food, and I found this through the Culinary Trust. I'm a writer and recipe developer, and it was a really exciting project. The original assignment was to create a cookbook using ingredients found in the Ark of Taste catalog. And as Megan had said earlier, there are about 317 products from the U.S. in the catalog. So I basically started out by going through all of the onboardings that they had from 2004 to present, and just pulling aside a list of essentially products that I felt would be really great for school gardens to be able to grow, and also products that had really interesting histories. Keeping in mind that this is for a younger audience, I wanted to really use things that had great stories to tell. And then I started some research. I found vintage recipes. Some of the onboardings had recipes within the listing, because there really is an extensive nomination process. I also created some recipes. I edited tons of recipes and, of course, tested them. So that was a lot of fun. So the different sections in the book. So what's in the book so far? We have a section on potatoes, beans, herbs, lettuces, peppers, stone fruits, squashes, tomatoes, a purple veggie section, and lots of wonderful corns. The 2 pictures you see here, the top is of the macaw zeti potato, which actually Andy grows in his garden. And the bottom one is bean burgers that were made with the Long Island cheese pumpkin. So if you click to the next slide, please, I'll tell you a little bit more about the project. The great thing about this is that it really is so much more than just recipes. Each entry includes garden notes and tasting notes. And then, as I mentioned, some of these stories are really stories you'll never forget. There's the beans that Lewis and Clark encountered on their famous expedition. There's a sweet potato that Christopher Columbus brought with him to America. There's a persimmon that Captain John Smith wrote about. So I have a 4-year-old son. I just pictured his eyebrows going way up in excitement hearing about these products. And the great thing about it is that not only will it be a recipe and history that can be told with the ingredient, but seeds are going to be distributed to school gardens along with these books, so that the children can get to grow it, they can learn about the history and taste the food. And as one of the presenters mentioned, that really does get them to try new things and just develop their palates. So what ended up happening, when will it be ready? The manuscript is written. and it is currently in the design phase. And instead of being one large book, it's actually going to be individual booklets for each ingredient so that it can accompany those seed packets, and we could essentially create kits that we would send to the school gardens. And the first three to launch are the macaw azeti potato, the Mayflower bean, and the Amish deer tongue lettuce. So keep an eye out for that. And if you want a teaser, there are some amazing recipes already on the site. So I just provided the link right here.
Thank you, Andrea. That's really wonderful, and we can't wait to see the first 3 booklets and the many more phases to come. We're really excited. And that actually segues, even though we've reached the end of the scheduled presenters, I think now is actually a really good time to introduce, before we get into questions and answers, sort of the next phase of Ark of Taste in the School Garden for Slow Food USA, a partnership we're fostering with Seed Savers Exchange that my colleague Andrew is going to talk about now. Okay, you're muted on your phone, I think. Hold on one second, folks. Here. Okay, we're just sorting out some tech difficulties.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is I'm Andrew Nowak. I work with Lauren here at Slow Food USA. We wanted to let you know that we'll be sharing an email later this week that's announcing a couple of really exciting programs that are under the category of Ark of Taste Gardens. Ark of Taste Gardens is our effort to bring Ark of Taste into school gardens, and we've been working with some partnerships to get these 2 programs up and running. The first one we're calling Plant and Eat. And in this one, we have a selection of about 25 or 30 Ark of Taste seeds that we've gotten from some of our seed distributors like Seed Savers Exchange and Southern Seed Exposure. We have these seeds in our office. You're gonna, as a school garden, you can choose from the list of these seeds, and we'll send you some seeds to grow in your school garden. We'll send you the link to those seeds from the Ark of Taste catalog, as well as some planting instructions for those seeds from some of our catalog friends. And the expectation is you're going to take these seeds back to your garden, grow them, harvest the wonderful food that comes from the plants, and perhaps working with a local chef or somebody with some culinary background, actually prepare this food following some recipes, or maybe create your own recipes and have the students taste it and comment on it. And we would love to get pictures and comments back from the kids concerning these products. So again, that one is called Plant and Eat. It was kind of meant to be a low touch activity, and, get some seeds, plant them, grow the food, cook the food, and eat it. But we also wanted to give some schools the opportunity to get involved with Ark of Taste at the same level that Cindy and her students down in Florida did. So the second program is called Grow and Nominate. In this program, we are working with Seed Savers Exchange, and we have a small application that you need to fill out. And in this application, we're asking some basic information about your garden program. What kind of things do you like to grow? What kind of food do you want to prepare? And once you return that application, we'll share that application with Seed Savers, and they're going to go through their seed banks and match you up with some seeds that are not on the Ark of Taste yet, but are very strong candidates to become on the Ark of Taste. And the idea is that your class will take these seeds, plant them, learn a little bit about the history behind the seeds. Seed Savers will provide some basic information that they have in their database about these seeds. And then we'll also supply the Ark of Taste nomination form for you, and help you fill out the form, gather the information so that you can submit the nomination for this plant. And with the high expectation is that we get this food nominated onto the Ark of Taste, so that the school sees the whole project from seed to nomination, much like what Cindy described for her project down in Florida. So that program is called Grow and Nominate. And obviously it's a little more of a high touch program, it involves some research, and it's probably geared more to middle school and high school students, and garden programs in those kind of schools. So we expect that the announcement will come out later this week. We're putting the final details on the email and on the application forms. So keep an eye open for that. And then we're ready to process your applications and get the seeds out to you right away, as we have most of this ready to go in our office. So I'm going to turn this back over to Lauren. She's going to head into the questions and answer period.
Thanks, Andy. That was really good to hear about. I know that Greg asked a question during that, wanting to know if there was a slide with information about this. So what I've done is actually just opened up the page on our website. If you go to gardens.slowfoodusa.org, under the resources tab, you can go down to Ark of Taste and Biodiversity, and that will bring you to this page, which describes more about the plant and eat and grow and nominate parts of this program, and then a link to the application. Later this week, we will send out a large email, a mass email announcement about this, welcoming you to apply that way as well. So I think we'll get into questions and answers now. I'll just go to the end of this. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back up and see. I know there were some questions during Mim's presentation. Monica, thank you for your comments. I appreciate that feedback. And your question for Mim was, do you have food safety requirements you need to meet? Arizona requires the school gardens to be certified prior to using the produce in the cafeteria.
Yes, we do. We have county requirements, and then we have federal requirements. We're very lucky because we are set up as a team, myself at Farm Lab and Child Nutrition Services. So we have certain protocol that we go through on the farm with the farmers, the GAP protocol, and then, which is just good agricultural practices, sorry. And then we have all of the, what they call processing procedures that we go through in the central kitchen. So yes, we are extremely formal, though we've made it very simple. We do everything as needed to make sure that everything is safe for our kids, both on the growing side and the preparing side.
Wonderful, thank you. And Monica, I'm not sure if you've seen the page on our website as well. I can just bring us there really quickly since my browser is already open. If you go under resources and then garden to cafeteria, we have a little bit of description of the garden to cafeteria work Andy has done for the last several years, as well as links to some different food safety protocols that have been developed in Denver public schools, as well as some other places like Ventura, California. So these are available for everyone's perusal as well. Okay, so the next question, Shan is asking, I think this is for Mim as well. Are the seeds purchased by the school, or is there a donation plan for schools willing to participate?
So we have a lot of garden programs around the district, and they all work a little bit differently. Every single school has a thriving garden education program, but for Farm Lab, everything that we get is at the moment purchased through the district. There's potential for donation, and we have obviously Ark of Taste that we're very excited about growing, but as we are becoming certified organic, it's starting to get a little bit tricky for us. Every single input has to be certified organic. So that is going to be a little bit tricky for us. We also, however, have, aside from the 5 acres set aside for growing food for the school lunch program, we have about 1.5 acres of a hands-on garden at the school facility itself. And that is not going to be certified organic just for this reason, so that we can make sure that the kids can grow and taste, you know, not going into the federal lunch program, but going into their nutrition lab for preparation. They can taste, you know, we're not going to have GMO, but we're going to have a lot of donations that we will accept. And there's no way we would not do Ark of Taste and have, you know, the Mayflower beans, especially, I think, are super exciting because of their sort of divergent history, and we don't really know the true history of them, and that opens up a huge educational fun component for information literacy. And then we don't have to worry as much about being certified organic. I hope that answered the question about the seed donations and seed costs.
Thank you, Mim. And related to that question also, for the new seed Ark of Taste program that Slow Food is launching, those seeds will be free to schools that apply. So just to clarify that. Let's see. Gwen is asking, will the Ark of Taste be publishing a cookbook other than that for the school garden project? I don't know. Megan, do you want to take a stab at this question?
Sure. So, I'm sorry, Lauren. The question is if there will be more cookbooks published around the Ark of Taste. Is that right?
Yeah, other than the one that has been centered around school gardens. Yeah.
Right. So there are no books in the works. So we do have a fair number of recipes available on our website, which you're welcome to use. And I know that Andrea has been really conscientious in preparing these cookbooks so that they are useful for any scale gardener. So it doesn't have to be just a school garden, but also a home garden. A home gardener would certainly find these recipes very useful as well.
Great, thank you. I hope that answered your question, Gwen. Zeno from Slow Food Russian River is asking, is there outreach material available about the program that we can share with schools in our area? I think you're talking about the Slow Food Ark of Taste in School Gardens program, and in that case, yes, we will be providing materials. We can share links. You are welcome and encouraged to forward the email announcement onto your networks, and then you can feel free to adapt the content in that email, the photos, the text, to your own social media. Absolutely. This program is open to the public, and we welcome schools from all over to participate. So great question. And then Monica was asking if we can add Arizona school garden food safety protocols to our site, which I think we can absolutely do that. We love to share both Slow Food and other folks' materials. Let's see. Zeno also commented that individual chapters may have cookbooks for the Ark of Taste, which, yeah, those are available as well. So thank you for pointing that out. Let's see. Mary Dudley is asking, I'd like to close the loop and save seeds from the school garden. Do you have resources for seed saving? I will let Andy talk about that. Hold on one second. Andy's having trouble unmuting himself.
So, Mary, we definitely want to go in that direction with seed savings. Our initial interest was to get the seeds out to the schools so that we can get them planted. We are talking to Seed Savers Exchange and Terroir Seeds out of Arizona on partnering up with some webinars and some online resources that they're both developing for seed saving. And Slow Food will look at what we may need to prepare here in this office that we can share out with our gardens. But as long as we can partner with these other wonderful organizations like Seed Savers, I think we'll take advantage of what they have as far as materials and training and such. And we will certainly share those, post those through our network, so those resources become available. But yes, we're very excited about school gardens growing Ark of Taste products, saving the seeds, and then perhaps becoming a community seed distribution center so that these seeds can get shared out to home gardens and community gardens as well. Good question.
Okay, great. Thank you, Andy. So we definitely have time for more questions. Still about 25 minutes until the hour. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to enter them into the chat function. Zeno's asking, let's see, I love the 3 Ark of Taste cookbooks for schools. Will there be a public campaign around bringing these out? It could be a good fundraiser. That's a great idea. As we're talking about what kind of campaign work we can do with slow food in the coming months and year, we're definitely going to be focusing on biodiversity, and I think that these cookbooks would fit really nicely into that. So we'll keep you posted on how that works out. Andy's asking everyone, has anyone been growing Ark of Taste seeds? And if so, what has your experience been? And if you want to share on the chat function, if you've been growing them, cooking them, how it's been received among your students. And we'll wait for those answers to come in. In the meantime, Cindy wants to know if we can share a few of the plants in the Grow and Nominate project. So to answer that question, Seed Savers is actually going to take individual schools' applications and do a bit of a matching process to figure out what has not been nominated to the Ark of Taste yet and what would be geographically appropriate. So we don't yet have that list, and that's going to kind of come out as people apply, which is exciting. It'll be very place-based and sort of customized in that way. So we're very grateful to Seed Savers Exchange for their work and partnership in this program. Let's see. Mary is sharing that the Amish deer tongue lettuce seeds are very easy and they're fun with students and to enjoy a good story with their garden lesson. And that's supposed to be really nice lettuce, really tender. Zeno wants to know if the Bodega red potato will be in the cookbook. Andrea, you can probably answer that one.
Hi, yes, yes, it is.
Oh, great.
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yep, we can hear you just fine.
One of the ones. And I actually just noted that those first 3 are just the first 3 that we're developing, but there will be many more to come as well. So we'll keep a lookout for those.
Oh, good. Okay, well, we're really anticipating those. That's great. It looks like Beth wrote that they grew the Sea Island red peas for seeds last year, and students really wanted to take them home, and they'll be distributing them again in the spring. So I'm not familiar with that variety, but it sounds fun. Scott Lewis from Glades to Coast, Slow Food Chapter in Florida, wants to know if teachers can contribute to compiling lesson plans for the Ark of Taste Gardens. We would absolutely welcome contributions from other people. We are happy to share things out. Our Facebook group is a great way for people to, if they have ideas, to share them. And then we also encourage people to upload resources onto the Edible Schoolyard Project's online database as well. But if we receive lesson plans, we're happy to share them out with teachers. So that's a great idea, Scott. Gwen wants to know if there are any gardens with the Brooklyn, New York elementary schools. We have a map of school gardens on our website, which I can go ahead and pull up fast since it's right here. And we have more than 600, almost 700 school gardens that Slow Food USA is supporting. And actually, this map just went international as of today. We've added some of the schools in Africa and different parts of the world that are participating in the International Pen Pal program. But if you zoom in on the United States, I haven't checked recently to see if we have any schools from Brooklyn. But I do know that there is a group in New York City we are going to be working with called Butter Beans. They do education, I think, primarily in Manhattan and Queens. But you can feel free to check out this map page and you can scroll down and see what's here from New York State. Let's see, Ron. We're on our 4th year this spring of planting the ozit. It grows great in our school garden and students love digging and eating them. And that potato actually was sort of Slow Food, our National School Garden Program's first foray into the Ark of Taste, because we worked with Pure Potato, a company out of Northwest that donated a bunch of potatoes to us, and then we were able to ship those out all over the country. So that kind of started this off, and we're really excited to see where it's grown from there. And actually, Gretchen just asked about the map. Is there a list or map of participating slow food gardens to find others in our area? And yes, that's just linked right from our webpage, gardens.slowfoodusa.org. And it's /where-we-are, and it can be found right on our main page. Well, wonderful. So we still have time if there are any more questions. Let's see, Alana. Butler Elementary School in Springfield, Illinois has grown mortgage lifter tomatoes. They tasted delicious but did not produce as many tomatoes as some of the other varieties we grew. This year we're growing the chapalote corn and look forward to reporting our experience. That's wonderful. And if you want to send us photos, comments about your experience growing that, we'd love to share that as well. Well, if there aren't any more questions, we'll just take the time now to thank everyone for attending this webinar, taking some time out of your day to join us to hear more about the Ark of Taste and biodiversity in school gardens. Do expect an email from us later this week announcing the launch of the Ark of Taste Gardens project, where you can get seeds for your school garden, and hopefully we'll have more people participating. It also looks like we have one more comment from Ginny, that the tennis ball lettuce, the ozit potatoes, and the enchelium garlic are fun and easy to grow in Washington State. They're looking forward to growing the newly approved Rockwell bean, because what kid doesn't like delicious baked beans? Well, thanks, Ginny. Thanks for that. So feel free to send us an email if you have any questions, and we look forward to staying in touch with you all. Have a great day.
Thanks so much, everyone.